أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي.
نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم، أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ثم نبتهل فنجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yesterday was the 1st of April, which is also commonly nowadays known as April Fool's Day. Now, this April Fool's Day has a lot of, narrations regarding the history behind it, why did it occur, and what was the basis behind it. So not going too deep regarding that, but regarding what happens on this day. A person lies to another person through a joke, or he calls it a joke. So what happens? He fools a person through a lie. Now, what is the basis of lying? The reality of lying is a person does this through his tongue. Now, let's look at the reality of the tongue in the light of Sharia. What does the Sharia say regarding the tongue? Well, let's look at the 5 pillars of Islam. Firstly, when a person reads namaz, then what does he do? He does qiraat, he does tasbih, and he reads at-tahiyyat, etc. Now, he cannot say any other word. He cannot say his own language. He cannot say his name. He cannot say anything else. If he does, what happens? His namaz breaks. From this, we can see the importance of a person safeguarding his tongue in namaz. Now, let's look at Sawm, fasting. When a person fasts, he fasts throughout the day without eating. But at the same time, it is encouraged and it has been ordered, etc. in hadith, that a person must not backbite. He must not swear. He must not use foul language. Or what happens? To the nearest meaning in the hadith, it comes that when a person fasts, then there are such people that fast, but they get no reward. They gain no reward. All they gain is hungerness, and that's it. So from this we can see the reality of the tongue and how important it is to safeguard the tongue whilst fasting as well. Now let's go to zakah. When a person gives zakah, which is also a sadaqah, a form of charity, then a person, he gives it to a poor person. Nowadays, a person gives it to the main people of the masjid. But back home in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of people give the zakah and the sadaqah, the charity, himself to a poor person. Now, when he gives it to a poor person, a lot of people boast regarding what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن. Do not nullify your charity through boasting. Because when a person gives charity to a poor person, what does he say? He says, look, I'm rich, that's why I'm giving this to you. But in reality, this wealth that this rich person, he has not gained it himself. It is in reality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. So from this, we can see how important it is to safeguard the tongue whilst giving zakah as well. Now, let's go to Hajj. When a person performs Hajj, then, there's millions of people there. There's a huge crowd, so many people around. Now, it is apparent that a person will get pushed, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So when a person gets pushed by someone else, what happens? He becomes really angry. Then he uses his tongue. Then he starts swearing. He uses foul language. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. Do not use foul language. Do not quarrel amongst each other when you are in Hajj. From this we can see the importance of a person safeguarding his tongue whilst in Hajj. Now the kalima. When a person says the kalima, he says there is no God but Allah and Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah's messenger. Now, if a person says anything excess to this, then what happens? Then his iman is in threat. If he says, I also believe in the stars, I also believe in the sun, then this will be classified as shirk. This will be classified as ascribing partners to Allah. So we can see how important it is to safeguard the tongue whilst saying the kalma and testifying in shahada. So from this we can see the importance of the tongue and how important it is to safeguard it in Sharia. Now going back to April Fool's Day, what happens? A person fools someone through lying. Now he uses his tongue, and I've told you the importance of the tongue in Sharia. Now lying, what's the reality of lying in Sharia? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the most hateful things in front of and around Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was lying. He used to hate lying so much. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma says that the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajma'in asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, O Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who is the best amongst you? Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the best amongst you is the person who safeguards his tongue. A truthful person is the best amongst you. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also said that, when a person lies, then such a bad odor emanates from his mouth that the angels of mercy, they flee from a person, and they don't just flee, they flee 1 mile from a person. This is how bad lying is. So we can see from this how bad lying is. So now from this we can see that April Fool's Day is nothing, it has no basis, it's not allowed in Islam. So a person fools someone through lying, it is not allowed. Now a person might ask the question, but it is a joke, so why can we not do it? Then Prophet ﷺ says in a hadith, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْكِذْبِ, stay away from lying. فَإِنَّ الْكِذْبَ لَا يَصْلُحُ بِالْجَدِّ وَلَا بِالْهَزْلِ. Lying is not allowed whether a person is serious or whether a person is joking. And this is exactly what happens on not just on April Fool's Day, but also nowadays. A person jokes now through lying. Through a person joking or lying through seriousness. The example of this is this teacher shouting a student saying, why did you do such a bad act? The student, even though he's done it, he says, no, I've not done it. This is lying in seriousness. Now lying in joking, an example of this is, I go to my friend, I take his phone off him without him knowing. And what does he say? He comes back to me and he says to me, he asks me, have you got my phone? I say, no, I haven't got it. And I take a day and I don't give it him. Then after a day I go back to him and I say to him, here's your phone, I was just joking with you. This was no joke, this was a lie. And this is what Prophet ﷺ stops us from in hadith. He says, do not lie through joking as well. Now the question is, what is a joke then? How do we joke? So Prophet ﷺ himself joked. In the books of hadith, the chapter comes, Bab al-Mizah, which in Urdu is known as Khush Tab'i or Zarafat. When Prophet ﷺ joked, he never ever lied. And this is what joke means, not lying. And contrary to this, in this day and age, we joke with people, but through lying, which is not allowed. Now an example of this, once a Sahabi came to Prophet ﷺ, and he said to Prophet ﷺ, O Rasulullah ﷺ, can you give me a camel? I need to travel. So Prophet ﷺ said to this Sahabi, I will give you a camel, but I will give you the child of a camel. And in those days, and even in these days as well, a child of a camel, a baby camel, or even a baby horse is not compatible for a person to travel on, because this baby horse or baby camel cannot take the weight of a human. So Prophet ﷺ said to this Sahabi, I will give you a child of a camel. So this Sahabi radiallahu anhu, he was a bit shocked, thinking, what is Prophet ﷺ saying? So he said to Prophet ﷺ, O Prophet ﷺ, what do you mean, how can I travel on the child of a camel? So Prophet ﷺ said, every being is a child of its mother. So the Prophet ﷺ, what he said was true, that no matter how old a person is, he in reality is a child of his mother. So he can be 60, 70, but he is a child of his mother. And that's what Prophet ﷺ was indicating in this hadith. So we can see that Prophet ﷺ, when he used to joke, it used to have a meaning behind it. It even had information which will help us and teach us something as well. And it also used to be a joke through telling the truth and not lying. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to joke in the proper manner. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to stay away from lying.